Okay, so let's start with some really plain shapes here. We have a cylinder, a circle, and a cube, but they don't look like them because there's no volume in them. So let's see, what do we need first to do this? We need to know where our light is coming from. So the main light of our scene is called the key light, which is the light that is the principal light, and it should make a highlight. So that's our first highlight, and I want you to notice that the cylinder in the left doesn't have any highlights, and that's because the highlights that you see are perpendicular to us, I mean to the surface and us. So kind of like if the light bounces, so that's what you see. So the key light, that could be our sun, it could be just a light on the ceiling, for example. Basically everything that is like a light that is the principal light of the scene. So the cylinder doesn't have the highlight because of the shape that it has, so it's kind of like a vertical. The shape doesn't, this, if it was rotated, maybe you could see like the reflection of the light. This one is because it's curved and it's perpendicular to the light. At some point we can see it, but this one not. Okay, so that also happens with the cube right here. The next thing will be volume. You need a transition from bright to dark to understand the shape of the thing. And if you do this shape, if you don't do the shape correctly, you could see the forms like they are not that shape that you're trying to show me in a painting. It doesn't look correct, it doesn't look accurate. The next thing will be the cast shadows, which a cast shadow is the shadow that is projected by an object when it cuts the path of light. So the light is coming here and the object is like in the way, so it casts a shadow. That's what they call like that, cast shadows. Let's see, another ingredient will be if we have key lights, we also have backlights. We wanted to talk about that in a second. Let me copy this. So backlight, as you can see right there, it separates the shapes from the background. So backlights are kind of like more artistic thing. It's not like everything has a backlight. You could have a backlight without even knowing in the real life, like talking to somebody or something like that. But this is something more like an artistic decision that you make when to put a backlight or not. When you want to separate image from the background, a shape from the background, you use a backlight. So you see how it works. The cubic shape doesn't show backlight because it simply can't, because of the shape of it. So we have fill lights, which will be a light that will take off that shadow in there. But another kind of fill light will be the bounce light. The bouncing light, I want you to notice, is the light that is reflected from the floor. So the light is coming from maybe the ceiling or the sun. It bounces in the floor and then goes to the ball, and that's why it's looking green right now. It happens if you watch a football match, like I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm talking like European football. Well, actually in American football too, it should happen. The grass will cast color bleeding. That's what is called in CG, in computer graphics. Color bleeding is when the light is bounces from here, so the light that is coming out of there, it has the color of the surface where it bounced, so it will be green. And you can see here it bounced from the box, and now we have some purple on the ball. That happens, but you believe it or not, even if you haven't seen it yet, well, you should open your eyes, because it happens everywhere, all the time. It's the normal way that the light works. Another kind of field light or ambient light will be what is called in computer graphics the skylight, which is the color of the sky. Imagine that the sky has a color, maybe a blue, and that color is transferred everywhere. That's why even when it's clouded, you can see some lighting. So here, what's happened, and it also happened with the cloudy days, is that the light bounces, but when it bounces with less and less intensity. So we have this little shadow right there when it's too near, that is called occlusion. So this kind of shadow happens when two objects are really together. A cool example will be that you take your hands and put it together, and put it that the light hits your hands, but even between the fingers you can still see shadow, even if there's a light going. If you have the light at one side of you, you can see that that between the fingers is black, because there's no way that the light gets in there. So these are the ingredients for the lighting, cool lighting setup. Depending of what scene you have. If it's a night scene, of course you're not going to have skylight or ambient light. You will have bounces lights, like every light that you have in your scene with bounce. That's why maybe mystery kinds of movies have really sharp shadows, because there's not too much field lights, there's not too much ambient lights, but there is bounce light, and they try to reduce the number of lights so there's not too much. Okay, so I really hope you like this explanation of lighting. You can go back and watch and keep watching your tutorial. Thank you.